bad.
I know. I don't know why it has to be obnoxious.
All right. Oh, we'll wait for Jonathan to get back.
I didn't print out agendas, but I think we can handle it.
Yeah, I got it online here. Okay, as long as
Online.
my battery holds up here. Chuck, do you have kids that are interested already in the?
I have one that I'm just waiting on approval,
Okay.
which is Jade's son.
Okay.
We haven't talked to him because of everything that was going on, so we just kinda.
Yeah.
I knew he had messaged me months ago, and I'm like, you just let me get through
Right.
this, and I'll let you know.
Right. No, it was interesting. I remember when I was teaching in Guilford, and somewhere in here it said
That they couldn't leave school.
they couldn't leave school, and I was thinking, oh, I bet my student was 18, and that's probably because he had.
We used to be able to leave in Guilford.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering,
Yeah.
because he had, the
Yeah,
radio and
we always
everything
wore
go
pager
off
in
in
school,
class. Okay.
So anyway, okay, guys, this is to go along with that paperwork that I gave you guys before.
Oh. You're probably exactly what I was thinking.
Thanks, Chuck.
This, and then I just wanted to talk about, the dinner that I had proposed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to,
That's
Okay.
cool. It's just my wife's birthday today.
Oh.
It's not going on.
Oh, you should have said something. We could have sang her happy birthday.
She would have probably like hung me off. If I did that.
All right, we will open at 6:11. Anybody on Zoom?
no,
Okay. And any adjustments to the agenda, we can add discussion of dinner under miscellaneous?
Yep. And then, Chuck has a grant that he wanted to talk about too.
Okay,
Perfect.
Very simple.
yes, very good, all right,
Yeah.
excellent. All right, so let's go into old business junior firefighter program. Thank you for this. And this, I kind of looked on the MMA site, and then it led to the labor department. So everything lined up with what they were saying. I assume that's where you got this. I have a question for you.
Sure.
On the second page, minus for 16 and 17 may, and the second bullet, perform patient care for which they're licensed.
Which they can't get a license to.
I know, that's what I was
They
wondering.
could do first aid, but
Right, it's a certificate.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that was all I was curious about. Is there anything that was on the labor department area that didn't pertain to? Like there was, and I'm sorry, I did this really quickly.
it's fine.
Um,
You guys should have, in that pack, I gave you a copy of everything from the state that they can and can't do.
Yeah, and there was something I was just looking at the site here, medical services, junior emergency medical
Yeah, no,
services.
we're
but
not.
We're not gonna do that.
No.
Okay,
Nope.
yeah. It says something about like respond to any call that may be psychologically or physically traumatic. And yeah, that could like
Yep. No, they don't.
create a
They don't go to
whole
medical calls.
nother level.
Yep.
Okay. Those were my only questions. And yeah, and that was the other thing I like signing off on stuff.
I think I said they're covered till the end of our workers' comp, the town's workers' comp. They're covered just like we are.
Yeah.
Do you want, I don't know, would it be advisable to have like a statement on here when the guardian signs and maybe even the I'll say teenager, that they've read and the guidelines?
That's part of our I have a sheet that they have to sign to, once they come on to sign that they've read the junior program guidelines. and all that.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, I didn't know if that's something,
we do that with our standard operating guidelines.
oh, okay.
Anytime anybody new comes on, they get a copy of it and they have to sign off saying they've
That
read
they
it and got a
got it,
copy
okay.
of it.
Seems pretty straightforward to me. I read it last week when I got it, and nothing jumped off the pages on. I mean, it seems pretty standard, like it's not, it's not like it's being invented out of
There, yeah.
And I think I do think it's an important program to develop the next generation of, firefighters, volunteer and otherwise. I mean, some people end up, pursuing it as a career, I think. Starting with this type of program. I mean, I think it's important. So, I didn't really have anything that jumped.
Cause I know growing up, I mean, it used to be, there was just as many junior firefighters as there was regular firefighters.
Right,
I just went to Sangor last night to meet with Matt for something. He's got 10
right.
juniors
Really?
Yeah.
and 20.
I know my son wants to join when he's old enough,
Yep.
and I think it's important.
There's just nothing around anymore for kids,
Right.
without playing with this. I mean, it's, a lot of times you can get them interested, you kind of mold them the way that you want
Yeah,
them.
and I think honestly, Chuck, I think the hang up when this was put forth before, was that it seemed to come out of nowhere. There was no communication, and so I'm glad that you, through Elena, sort of brought our attention to it, and I think this was handled in an appropriate way, so, I
I think the big thing is you guys are all kind of caught off guard because also there's an advertisement for it. It's like, whoa,
Right.
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Right, right. And this is good because it updates and it aligns with, the law and it's updated.
And if we have somebody come in, like Department of Labor or whatever, we have the proper documentation now versus just doing things however we feel like.
Yeah.
Things are different now than they were 20 years ago.
For sure. For sure.
Alright, do we, I was just gonna say, do we need to
I don't think you need to motion
Motion
anything
or just
or
like-
vote on anything. I think that as long as we're all on the same page,
Yeah.
I think it would be fine.
I think it just shows that how important the communication is, and I appreciate your willingness to do that. I think that as long as the communication stays open, even if there are contentious conversations or whatever, I think it keeps us moving forward in a positive direction instead of getting sidetracked or sidelined. So thanks.
Yeah,
That's all I would say.
we're
So,
all good on that?
So,
Alright.
So I got a grant
Yeah.
from, Fire Master's office called me yesterday. Elena knew
Maybe.
about this, but I thought it already closed,
yeah, so
the
did I.
grant, and he called me yesterday, he says, hey, you guys interested in the washer program? I'm like, sure. He's like, well, it's a 1-page application. He says, fill it out, get it to me before Friday. He said, I still have money left. I hate to give the money back. So basically what it is, and this one involves money up front, but, and I have the money in my budget. It will cost us $1,528 if we get awarded the grant up front. As soon as you guys sign it saying to pay it, I send that to the state. They send me $5,000 back.
Okay.
So the actual cost is like
900, and then, like I said,
And then
we'll have a little
installation.
wiring, and I know a plumber that, you know.
And we have the space and.
Yeah, it's just-
Actually, I think
Because,
it's small enough, I think it'll fit
I mean,
right.
you're still going to Dover, correct?
Yeah.
to do, cause this will it's an extractor or whatever.
Yep,
it will
washer,
actually-
extractor, we'll do 2 sets of turnout gear at a time, wash it. And then the grant, if we get this, then the grant that I was gonna do for the washer, dryer and gear, I'll just take the washer out of it. And get the dryer and the gear, if I can, if they'll give it to us. That one, there's no money involved. So,
I mean, how many hours are you spending going to Dover to wash stuff?
well, yeah, it's like,
I mean-
after every structure fire or
Right,
anything, chimney
cause it
fire.
has to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the new ones, I don't know about this one, because I haven't actually seen it, I just got a price today for it. Some of the new ones, you can actually put the air packs on, and it will wash
oh, yeah.
the air packs, so you don't have to hand wash them. It takes all the carcinogens out of the fabric and sucks it out. Is
I
the
mean, it seems like,
name of the game.
Where those carcinogens go?
So I had to have
Mud
code enforcement.
Right.
I had to have
Well,
code
quite
enforcement sign it.
literally.
I mean, do you? This makes sense to me.
Oh, it's a necessity.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
like the fact that you guys have functioned without one is mind-boggling to me, like, so, and I looked it up at one point and I was finding prices that were a lot higher than that.
Yep, and I had one for the fire station grant.
Right,
That was like, it was gonna be like $9,800, but that did 3 sets of turnout gear.
Mhm.
This one does 2, which is fine.
right,
Two's better than none, for
Correct.
sure.
Correct. Like I said, better than the old days, take the garden hose out and spray it down, put some soap on top of it.
I would say go for it.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people have been reaching out to us about applying for this grant. I mean, John Simcoe today called me and was like, you guys really need to get in on this grant because they have money just burning holes in their
Yeah,
pocket and I really wanna get rid of it. So I'm like,
I mean.
yeah, we're
who
on it,
knows?
we're on it.
The other concern, there's a lot going on right now federally that some of these grants that aren't funded right now may not get funded, so
Yeah.
yes, I would 100% go for it.
Yeah, I agree, and I worry about those upfront cost ones too. We're going through that with our nonprofit, and it's kind of nerve-wracking, like, will something happen? And like the farmers, that put money into,
Yep.
upfront and aren't getting it.
But no, the state has the money for this.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
have,
yeah.
I can't remember what he said, $200,000 he's got sitting there,
Yeah.
so.
So, no, I support it too.
Awesome.
And while we're on the grant front, MMA has a $3,000 grant for safety. That's not due until April 15th, but I think our next meeting's like April 10th or something, so I just wanted to, I was just brainstorming today because honestly, I forgot all about MMA having a grant in the fall and in the spring. But Jason had emailed it to me today, so I was just brainstorming it as to like what, and just some of the things that came to mind, was like, if we bought cones, we could kind of split them between the Public Works Department and the fires. Same with high vis jackets, he doesn't necessarily need any, right now, but like the Public Works could use some high vis. And I was thinking, like road signs, like with a picture of a guy working on it or something, because when we did the speed bumps last summer, we had like emergency scene on one side, something else on the other side, and I'm like, how do we not have road signs? So I just thought maybe that would be, I just did like a quick shopping today, and for like 20 cones, 2 vests, 4 signs, and then 2 sign holders would be like $2,000.
Wow.
So
And this is a $3,000 grant?
Yeah.
What else can we get?
that's what I was thinking, but it has to be grouped together, so like you can't, so it'd have to be something along those lines, so I mean, maybe throwing in an extra roadside stand or even some more cones to kind of,
Or a couple extra vests.
or a couple like extra vests or whatever, to just try to get closer to that $3,000, because I was trying to brainstorm like what else goes with traffic control. Do you guys need stop slow signs?
We have
We have them too, I think.
Did you check with Steve?
Well, I didn't know about this grant when I saw Steve this morning,
Okay,
so I will, before I'm like Yeah, we'll just get more cones. I'll talk with him to see if maybe he has a different idea and whatever. But the signs that I was thinking of, one of them says road work ahead, and then the other one has like the picture of the guy shoveling,
Yeah.
like men working. And then the stands that hold those, which are like $280 a piece.
Mhm.
So I just figured if you guys had any other ideas, if you didn't, because this is more geared towards like employee safety.
Right.
So less, like the other one where we got the cameras was more like property safety. This is more like employee safety, so.
The ventilation system in this room would be good, but.
Right, I know, I thought of that too, but I think that might be a little bit more.
A little more.
$3,000, but,
Yeah, I can't
Sounds
I
good.
mean, could you use that money for like hard hat, safety glasses,
Yes.
mhm.
dust mask, even? So your guys' boots are all steel toed, aren't they?
Yeah, so like, we might be able to get away with like hard hats because you could wear that like in a traffic control situation. But then, and maybe even safety glasses, but then when you start venturing out to like more of the PPE part of it, then they want things like groups kind of together to be, so like, the PPE part would be more PPE and less traffic control.
Right.
I think they actually have a grant for PPE
Yeah,
that they do.
so, but yeah, that was just my ideas.
Yeah.
And I figured,
Yeah, and see what Steve can
yeah,
come up with.
I just
too.
figured anything is better than not applying at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah. I think it-
And I know that some of the public works cones look like they've been run over 3 or 4 times and then
Well, and I know there
Sharpie.
was a previous person in your position that would just steal fire department cones
oh, I know,
to put out, so
and that
I
went
think-
over so well.
having more
Oh my
cones
God.
is probably better.
Yeah,
You
No,
know, so if nothing else, you could even add to that, like, to spend the 3,000.
right. Oh, well, that's what I was thinking, cause I mean, cones can be used for so many different
And
things.
20 doesn't seem like an awful lot.
Yeah. Like if you're trying to route traffic around, you
Right.
need multiple, right?
Or
So-
if you have a road closed because it washed out, or literally anything.
So I have to have 5 on each truck.
Mm,
So. Okay, well,
sounds good.
all right,
April 15th, you said?
yes.
Yeah.
The only other thing I have is I just wanna
Yeah.
make sure we're all clear, because this is from May 9th, 2024, about fire grants. About that I asked about doing them, and it says here, according to the notes, as long as I talk to Elena, I can apply for any grant
Sure,
that.
okay.
That's the chain of command.
I'm
That's
just
what I
trying to
was
make
thinking.
sure, you know,
Yeah,
obviously if there's money involved, she's gonna know about it.
Right.
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 That
Well-
wasn't always the case, so I'm
Yeah,
glad
right.
that
No,
you're
no, I
committed
just-
to
I
doing
wanna-
that.
Because last time we were here, I applied for a grant, I was told I had to come and get permission, so I went back and found this in the select board
Okay.
meeting minutes. That's what it says, I just wanna, like I said, sometimes it's just hard to get a hold
No, I think
You know.
that's fair, if you're clearing it with Elena, and then she keeps us up to date, and so, I think that was our
It's the chain of
intention.
command, yeah.
Right. And if there's an issue with it, we can talk about it at the next select board meeting if we need to, but.
of, so that's why as soon as he called me, I called her, and she was in a meeting,
Yeah.
says, I can't talk, I said, can I do this grant? She can go, I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
So-
cause that, well, I knew about that grant, but I thought that we already missed the deadline, so it kind of like went out of my headspace a little bit. And then when he said that, I was like, yeah, like I know that we've talked about washers in the past and
Yeah,
applying for grants, so I was
Yeah.
like, that one's not gonna be an issue.
right. And I think, future grants, that you apply for and get, I mean, you're gonna inform us
Mhm.
of
Good.
of that information, so.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So especially the free ones, it's no item upfront, right?
Yeah,
I
no
wanted to
matching.
talk to you guys because I knew there was upfront money
Upfront
on
on
this
that,
one, but
But, I mean, we have money in the budget, worst case scenario, right? I mean, the fire department has done, I mean, some of it's probably accidental because it's all
Right.
about call volume and
Right.
whatnot, but
There's a
the
more
budget looks good.
conscious effort to maintaining
Right.
that budget, I can say
And so the
that.
budget looks good, and so we have the money up front. So, cool.
Smoking Andy wants to join our party.
Who?
Smoking Andy.
All right.
Perfect, well, I would just say keep the communication coming, because more is better.
Yeah. Thanks, John.
no problem.
Oh, we were gonna talk about the
The dinner.
town meeting dinner.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks
If you
for-
wanna cook, you can stay.
Yeah.
How did you guys do with the St. Patrick's Day?
We
Oh.
brought in almost $3,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was out of town.
In 2
I
hours.
wanted to go, yeah.
At 5:30, we were running out of food.
That's what I heard, yeah.
And then we had everything done, cleaned up, and out of there by 7 o'clock.
Wow. I don't know why I didn't go. Something came up. I
We
wanted
were-
to go.
But the people
Portland.
that Bob knew that came up and helped, they've done it before.
Yeah.
And they brought like warmers and, I mean, a whole truckload of stuff with them. They bought all the vegetables for the whole dinner, and I tried to pay them, and they wouldn't take any money. Like, nope, not at all. And I said, well, we'll come back next year and do it again.
Oh, that's nice.
So-
That's awesome.
That's really nice.
And they bought all the tablecloths, everything. I mean, I was going to the store to get them, like, no, I haven't pulled out a whole box, there you go.
Wow.
So it worked out good.
Nice. Tradition.
So that is the plan.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Alright, well, thank you. Appreciate it.
You coming in tomorrow?
I'll be here with the, actually, yes, but only in the afternoon. Benson has an
Okay.
appointment in the
So
morning.
I will wait for you to finish here if you wanna scan things through so I can email.
Oh, yeah,
you.
yeah. If you wanna just leave it on my desk, I'll scan it to you before I leave, and then I'll leave it on my desk and you can pick it up in the morning if you want.
Okay, that's fine. I can do that. I will email you. Well, it's in my email, so I should be able to do that. With
The,
the quote
The quote,
for
okay, yeah.
the actual washer.
Yeah, just email it to me and I'll print it out and then I'll,
Because I was on my way to home from the grocery store and we got called out, so.
Yeah.
I didn't
plans
get a
never
chance-
go
I
as,
didn't get a chance to get home and print it,
no,
but I
no
will
big
do
deal.
that. Okay, thank you.
Thanks again, Chad. All right, I'll make lasagna.
Yeah, so anyways, thanks for like just listening to my spiel because
That was a great idea.
I'm just driving to work and I'm thinking about town meetings and, cause you know,
You have a lot of things that go through that brain.
you don't even know.
A lot of information too.
And I was just thinking like, how can we just make town meeting feel better
Mm.
and make it something that somebody looks forward to coming to?
And we talked about this, I know, I think when Sandra was on the board, but it never just materialized. I don't know why, I can't remember.
Probably because it takes a lot of work to make something like that happen, and at the time, it just,
Yeah.
I think we should definitely do it. I think, I mean, I immediately went to Choose Simple and thinking about, there always used to be, I feel like at every festival event thing, there was always I think it was the fire department that would do a barbecue and they would cook. That's why I immediately went to something, let's choose easy, not necessarily a potluck where we're asking people to bring stuff because they're bringing their checkbooks to write money for taxes.
Right,
We
yeah.
ask them, so let's show appreciation for the town, and whether that's as simple as hamburgers and hot dogs, and like if the weather's nice, people can be outside and
Mhm.
and then come in for the town meeting, or I mean, we can do something more substantial. It could be, you know, whatever anybody wants to do. I was just thinking, trying to think, what could we do a lot of that we could actually do just with us and the town office
Right.
staff.
Right, like what can we do as a
Right.
group?
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, and then, cause like at first I was like, well, I know Cindy Turner would help me, because I was just trying to think of like who, and Cindy knows everybody, so she can be like, oh, let me call so-and-so and they'll cook something and do whatever, but I liked, and I, like I said, I didn't wanna volunteer you guys for things
No, it's
without
okay.
talking to you first and being like, oh, by the way, we're throwing a dinner and you're gonna help.
Right.
So I just think if we change the atmosphere a little bit, it goes a long ways. I mean, just changing the town office atmosphere has gone a long ways. So I think that just this piece, and then like I said, I just like to run my gob anyways. But I think that having some sort of town manager address or whatever at the beginning of the meeting might,
I like that because,
it might just help that connection a little bit.
yeah, and it's like an introduction to what we've done, what maybe, I don't know, needs to be done, but just
It
because,
just kind of breaks the ice a little bit, and it just gives it a different feel, I
Yeah.
think.
and it adds to, I know that, we as a board every year write a letter,
Right.
and about, and since I've been on the board and I was asked to kind of draft it, I try to focus on going back through the year of what we've done and, things that we've accomplished. But I don't know who reads that stuff, so.
Well, and not even just, because I was thinking about that, because that's how I started thinking, because I also have to write a letter from the town manager in the town report. So I started thinking about my letter and all of that stuff, and I just thought, how can I make it more personal though? And having that face-to-face connection makes it that more personal.
Yeah.
And I think that while other people are like, public speaking is not my favorite thing, I also have the personality for it. And I think that kind of can.
I think people appreciate that like the last several meetings we've had where you had to explain something, and people appreciate that you have that knowledge to share.
But I think even in that sort of discussing that, we've been focused on, I mean, it's gotta be done carefully because
Oh, yeah.
we really don't want to talk negatively about decisions that were made in the past. They were made in the past and they were made for a reason, and I wasn't privy to all of that. But like the focus on the roads and the focus on the fire department and the focus, like the things that we focused on to deal with stuff that people were kicking down the road, but not saying it like that.
But people will know that.
Right, but you don't need to fill in that
Right.
detail. You can,
Right.
but to focus on the fact that there are also hard work is being done by the budget committee again, and that gets glossed over, and people mainly, I'm not convinced that it's gonna be quite as sort of a habit yet. Everybody votes yes. There may be more discussion with some of the items this year, but I think even previewing the hard work and conversations that went into writing the budget, to not just respond to what Monson has committed to, but what we need to do as a town to move forward. And so I like the idea. I think it gives a chance to sort of set the tone for that discussion in a civil way, so it doesn't, because people sometimes can get a little heated or negative.
Well, when they don't
I
have the information, share like an overview, these were the challenges that we faced as a budget committee.
And as a town.
And as
And
a
as a
town, and and starting that conversation off, like you said, with that, because otherwise, like in town meetings, people are like, they look at that and they go, why is this increasing? And they're more defensive.
Yeah.
Cause.
Well, and just, like, that's why I mentioned, like, thanking them for attending a town meeting and
Right.
being part of the process, because it's, like I said, I don't even know how many town meetings I have attended in my life, but in 6 different towns, and they're all the same thing. The same few people are just, and eventually those same people are gonna fade out, and then we don't have any replacements for them.
I mean, fade out or.
Yeah, and so everybody likes to feel good. Everybody likes to be acknowledged. Everybody likes to feel like they're a part of the greater good. And if we can just acknowledge that they are being a part of democracy, because it starts here. There's very little things that we can do about the federal level, but we can do something on our level. And the more people that get involved, you're speaking for the entire town. And when 3 people are speaking for the entire town, you lose that vibrancy and voice, yes.
No, I think that's important. That's why sort of when you brought up the idea, my brain immediately went in the direction of how can we put on a meal that's for the people of the town and not ask
Right.
Cindy Turner, who will step
right.
up every time.
Yeah.
And Cindy Ranta will do what she can
Mhm.
and like people will, but let's not.
Mhm.
Like let's show appreciation for all of them. It's very small,
Yeah,
really, in
I
the
like that
grand
too.
scheme of things.
I even was brainstorming, like, how to make it exciting too. And I don't know, if just throwing this out, it might not be a possibility, but like of having a couple door prizes.
I thought of that too.
People sign in and we have a number next to their name and we put it in the hat and just kind of call out periodically some door prizes.
Well, I was thinking, we have a little bit of time to prepare it and to think it over and try to come up with what we want it to be. And like Erin said, the first year is not gonna be spectacular by any means, but it will show that we're trying. We're trying
Well,
to
it's
create
really-
this environment.
Last year we were dealing with the leftover, and this year it is completely us.
Mhm.
And so I'm with you 100% on that.
And I think a change it'll kind of spark some people that have never even thought about going to come to a meeting, and then they'll say, wow, I should have been coming to this
Mhm.
a long time ago. And so
Yeah.
they'll be there for the next 10, 12 town meetings. And
Exactly.
then there's gonna be another group that'll say, well, maybe I'll go look at this.
Exactly.
You got me thinking as you're saying that, I bet Jade could come up with a really visually exciting poster that could be, online, in stores or whatever around town, like, come,
Yeah,
food, prizes,
Yeah.
your vote.
yeah. Yeah, because then
You're
you're not going to town meetings specifically so that they don't raise your taxes and
Or you're voting to vote something down
Right.
here is
is bad or whatever.
I mean, maybe you still do that,
right.
but there's no, I think it's important to get that buy-in. I mean, you said it before, but like when I was teaching social studies, I would always stress because kids even pay attention to
Yeah.
federal elections. When if somebody comes and talks to me, I maybe hear from 1 or 2 people between meetings.
Mhm.
If I go to my state rep, they might hear from 50 people when they're trying to make a decision on something. If you go even a step further to federal, it might be 50,000 people. Like it's exponentially, you have less voice the
Mhm.
higher up you go.
Yeah,
And so I think it's important that people understand that.
If you want to make a difference, this
And the
is where
town
it
only
starts.
works if people buying in, and how many of us are on multiple committees and where, or the Cindy Turners that show up for everything that you ask them to
Mm-hmm.
and more.
And more. And are literally the brains behind a lot of,
Right.
I mean, Cindy and Brian have significantly made my job a lot easier.
Well,
And
when I started on the planning board, Cindy would say, you know, I don't have the education. And I was like, yes, you do.
Mhm.
Like, it's just, you earned it a different way. You didn't sit in class, you sat in life, and you had been on planning boards and involved in every level for multiple years. It's why we nominated her there was a state MMA gave an award, and we nominated, my brother and I worked to nominate her for that. Unfortunately, there were many good candidates the year that we did it. We did it sort of, she felt like she was pushed out, and we sort of did it hoping she would win, so that then we would have to have a ceremony to recognize her for the award. But she deserved it, and you know, it's why when Erin brought her name up as like, absolutely, like, again, my thought went immediately to not recognizing any individual, but recognizing the town as a whole. And for some reason, spell check didn't catch. I think I said
Yeah, there was something that was messed up there.
something that was
Yeah.
messed up, and
I knew what you were
noticed it
saying,
when
And
I
then you
reread
emailed
it.
again and said, yeah.
When I reread it, I was like, how did I not catch that the first time? But anyway, that was my thought, that it, you know, not to name any individual, but recognize, you know, Monson's a unique and special place, and it only works because everybody participates, and we, you know, that kind of thing. And
There's a logo coming there. There's like a motto
Yeah.
that you're working
Yeah,
on.
That's right.
but I think I also like the idea of like Anna Lee, right? That's who you said for the Chris Kringle. Although not as on theme, I think it's still,
Right.
And
that's
somebody
a
does.
huge,
She does both, right?
that's a huge,
And 40 years is a long time to commit
That's-
to an event like that.
yeah.
That's a huge
I
event.
went for the first time, and I know why I don't go. I went for the first time in a long time. I went this winter because we were on our way to a hockey tournament, I think. And the kids wanted to go, and they always go with Stacy. And I went in and walked around for a few minutes and got overwhelmed and was ready to leave. But it's impressive.
Yeah, I got to present her with an award and a basket this year at Chris Kringle.
Cool.
So we put together a basket that had donations from all the vendors in the room
Oh, awesome.
in the basket. So that was a nice way to honor her because, 40 years is a long time. And, you know, a lot of work goes into that, and it's an all year round kind of thought process.
It
And
has to be, right?
and she does it mostly by herself, and then she goes out and does all the shopping by herself. So whatever proceeds she does get goes back into the town. So, but anyways, back to the dinner piece of it. So do we want to do like barbecue kind of themed?
You know,
Because
I forgot the fire department used to put, am I correct in remembering, old memory, like the gazebo, we had
The Legion always used the
the
gazebo.
Legion, right, it was the Legion. And if it's a nice day, or do we want to do it in the gym?
I think that it might be best to at least put the tables inside,
Yeah.
just given the option, like
Yeah.
that way,
Yeah.
if we don't have to worry about if it is raining or whatever.
Yeah.
And so what we were thinking of with the soundboards, like usually we set up town meeting right in the dead center of the gym, but we don't have to do that. It's just how we are. So if we move town meeting down and kind of just put those soundboards around it, kind of separates the town meeting area from
From the
eating area. So then we won't have to worry about setting up, taking down, or whatever. It can just
Yeah.
be two separate
yeah.
places. But then if we are doing barbecue, we need somebody to get food and we need somebody to cook.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any, it doesn't need to be that.
No,
You could
I-
do spaghetti, you could do,
I'm
Like,
fine
is
with
anything-
whatever. I was just dead set on the dinner. I don't really care what we
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, I know Aaron helps my brother with his alumni banquet.
Yeah, but I can drink before that.
Yeah.
So this I
Oh,
can't.
yeah, true. No, I mean, we can do whatever, I don't care. I was trying to think easy, but.
Yeah, I wonder if barbecue would be more challenging? I don't know, like, because somebody,
would have to like man the grill
right,
versus having everything already prepared.
Yeah.
yeah, and just being there to serve or
Serve.
help or,
So what can we serve that's easy?
casseroles. That's what I was thinking, like lasagna, what else do they have it?
But it also needs to be, there needs to be enough, but not too
Yeah.
much. So
Well,
it's
and
like-
then where is that line? Because,
Right,
I mean, if we have,
Cause if you don't have enough,
Enough,
there's
right.
gonna be mad people before the meeting even starts.
yeah,
that's
right.
one of the reasons why I was thinking hamburgers and hot dogs, because you can always throw more.
That is true. That is
Yeah,
true.
that's a good idea.
Or-
And if,
Do we have the
Grills?
equipment? Do we
Yeah.
have grills and things like that?
no, do you? Do you have a grill?
Well, all that big one up there that we use for the chicken,
Isn't there a big one somewhere?
Is there? Oh,
but it's not an actual grill, it's a steel drum cut in half with a grate on it.
oh,
About, probably size of this table.
no
I could
kidding.
probably con my brother. And
What's the-
say he's
Sharp.
planning board.
Yeah,
He's-
he likes to give back to the town.
He could help. I mean, for that matter, we could also ask we could ask the planning board
Or even the fire department to help.
to help. Yeah, we could ask the fire department. I feel like so should the planning board.
I mean, anybody that wants to help is more than welcome, I would think.
Yeah,
We could just
And
put the
it's-
word out there.
As long as we get if we have it all set up and we just need people to help make it happen, I think that would be doable.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, some of us are gonna have to start getting food and that kind of thing. So we'll have to break out duties. of
Exactly.
Who does what.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. And besides hot dogs and hamburgers, like, and buns, of course, any meat, I mean, the condiments, but side
you probably need
dishes,
salads and things
Yeah.
like that.
some casserole, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like macaroni salad.
yeah, yeah,
Something like that.
yeah. I bet Sandra would help.
Oh, yeah.
See, planning board,
Sandra already told me that she would help because I pitched her my idea before I pitched it to you guys because she was in the room when I got here. And I was like,
You gotta tell somebody.
I was, because I was just like, had all these thoughts in my brain, and then,
Gotta get them out.
yeah, and Marty's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm brainstorming, and she's like, about what? And I was like, well, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but this is what I'm gonna do. And I
Yeah.
said, now I'm gonna tell the select board this is what we're doing too. And she's like, well, I mean, it's kind of a good idea. And I said,
kind of a good idea.
well, her thing was, I have to do what? And I said, no, this is the greatest part. I'm gonna do all of it. And you don't have to talk. You don't have to do extra, because like Marty's not, she doesn't even like the fact that she has to do the opening part of town meeting.
Yeah,
She's just not a fan of.
Yeah,
She's good at one-on-one, but not,
Right,
yeah.
right.
She's
She
got
just-
enough to prepare for
Right,
town meeting.
exactly. So I'm like, no, this is all, I'm just gonna take it and go with it and see how far we get, basically. And I think that, you know, like, I started thinking about how town meetings used to be, and like, in Garland, when I was a kid, they always had their town meetings on Saturday, and they
Oh.
would do half of the warrant, break for lunch,
Oh.
and the church would put on lunch for donations or by donation or whatever, and then we would resume and finish town meeting.
Now, there's a plan, we could ask for donations that go toward the offset of the budget.
Right? Right?
Is
Just
that legal?
explain to them, just every little bit will offset your taxes.
Yeah.
Right?
I was just gonna ask something. Oh, like if we do consider something like door prizes, I was thinking it should be things that people can use, like gas cards. If, and I don't know if that's something that local businesses would be willing to donate little gift cards, or if, I don't know. That's a whole nother
Or
piece to
even,
this.
yeah. Yeah, but, well, we can explore those options and,
I mean, we could ask for donations, I know John has a slate clock that he always gives to people for donations, it's the state of Maine, that kind of thing, like, but we could also go and,
I think that would be cool. I do, to have, like something that people can use, but also a piece of Monson
Yeah,
that's handcrafted in Monson.
right.
Like a flag and a sweatshirt.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I think we have enough sweatshirts
and flags.
and flags.
I just think that, it's a party, not a town meeting.
then we can have
Well,
If you go out
Sandra,
the back door, the coolers are behind the
no,
gym.
Sandra said that
Get
we invite
everybody
Nick
lit.
to sell alcohol there to like break the
Oh my
ice.
gosh.
that could turn
That would be
really.
bad.
And I'm like,
Trust me.
no,
That could turn
no,
In the
no.
town of
really
Monson,
ugly.
absolutely no alcohol, cause
Taxes and alcohol, I'm not sure
Yeah.
they mix.
That's what I told her too. I was
Jeez,
like,
people.
if you've ever attended, well, you've never attended a wedding up there, but weddings are supposed to be happy days, but every wedding always ends up with some type of brawl going on.
Really? Oh, gosh. No, good
So-
idea. So we should, make a plan to kind of,
When are we making the decisions and making the plan? Like, when do you wanna do that? Are you thinking now?
I mean, I would love to right now, but if we can't, like, I would think like by our next meeting so that we can start working.
I mean, I'm
towards-
fine with spending some more time on it, like, it's, I guess,
Just so we
we
can
just need
like,
to make some decisions.
yeah,
What day is the town meeting?
a Thursday.
What day?
It's a Thursday.
it's a
The 12th or 13th, I think.
12.
You,
Yes. Yes. June 12th.
I have it on good authority, it's gonna be sunny that day.
Well, wouldn't that be nice? So
I'm not even opposed to going back to the idea of a potluck and.
How about-
and stuff, but-
we could do a mix of kind of both, because if we could get somebody to do potluck for sides, and then we take care of the
Yeah.
hamburgers and
Yeah.
hot dogs.
Yeah.
Cause then that kind of takes and then we could have like a variety of sides, so
Yeah.
somebody bring regular salad, pasta salad, corn on the cob, I don't know,
Yeah.
just
We
things
would
to
just
go along.
need commitments from people so we
Right.
know we're gonna have.
Right.
So
That's-
I can,
That's where the call to Cindy Turner comes in.
right, so I will talk to her tomorrow, hopefully. At least I will talk to her in the near future anyways, I might even send her a message. And we can go from there, and then we, as a group, can kind of decide who's buying what,
Okay.
and we can go from there.
Yeah,
And kind of decide on numbers of things that we need.
Yeah,
I don't know how
and,
many people on average come.
well, I was thinking that, because if we
Plus.
have like a solar turnout, like
Oh, gosh.
like 120 people, or 20 people.
Well, if you start spreading some rumors right now about something bad with the budget,
Everybody.
will show up.
everybody will show up.
Well, I'm just thinking, like it would,
Start spreading the rumor that the budget's gonna be like $5 million this
Oh,
year.
gosh.
And you will get every resident
We
up
don't
there.
want a mutiny then.
no, because you know what's gonna happen, they're all gonna come see me
Yeah.
before the town meeting and be like, what the heck is wrong with you? Yeah, so I don't
Have
know.
you heard from Stacy Shore yet?
No.
Okay. She
No, I
has
haven't.
no idea probably when.
Probably has no idea whatsoever.
Okay.
Like I said, last week they had only had 2 budget meetings so far, so I don't,
I keep forgetting to ask my brother.
he had another one this week.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's a lot of money up in the air right now with title
Title, yeah.
well, there's
falling under there's a federal.
a lot of money up in the air with the whole CDS spending.
Yeah.
Spending too, so, I don't know if we'll even have a chance to put in this year.
Right.
For that. Because, the engineer reached out to me, this is completely off topic, but the engineer wrote to me and said, well, I heard through the grapevine, I don't know how true this is, but I figured I'd pass this information along, that they actually took out the 2025 appropriations of the budget, and they're gonna put them in next year, so they're not even going to ask for any appropriations this year.
That wouldn't shock me. That's for the building stuff, yeah.
But I mean, there's other avenues we can explore, like, Edie Smith even told me going through the USDA directly.
Right, but
and
that's also a federal program.
it is, but it's less risky than congressionally directed spending.
Oh,
But other avenues we can explore. In the meantime, I'm gonna have the engineer that came to give us plans look at that floor. And just go from there.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I do think that we may have a short-term solution to come up with.
Yeah, I agree.
And then look more long-term.
I agree.
But
And figure out the whole drain
Yeah.
system thing
why don't
downstairs.
you reach out to Cindy and kind of gauge, I
Hmm.
mean, she may think that we're insane. I don't think so. but-
Maybe she would.
mean,
I think
but-
she thinks I'm insane.
But, it seems, that seems pretty doable.
I think so, because then we're not coming up with a whole meal ourselves.
Right.
And we're not asking them to provide a whole meal themselves either. So,
When all they wanna do is come and vote on the budget.
Right. But some people also thrive on being a part of this
Yeah.
stuff and they
Oh,
like
yeah,
live
yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
No,
but- You gotta, this would be a way to do half and half.
Yeah, and to get people involved and, in your opening, thank everybody that
Right.
participated and came, and
And
it's a good hybrid.
Sweet. Excuse me, we could, I had thought about I know that Lieber's probably not gonna give us enough hamburgers, but they do have hot dogs now, like Pineland Farms does. They started selling them, I think it was last summer they started.
You think they donate them?
I don't know. Wendy has,
Depends on how the discussion about the parking lot goes.
yeah,
right, yeah.
that's true.
No, what I'll do is I'll have my discussion with Sue, then I'll go walk across the street and have my discussion with Wendy, and then hope that they don't talk to each other.
They talk all the time. No, we could reach out for donations, but it's also, if we do hamburgers and hot dogs, it's not cost prohibitive.
Mhm.
Right.
It's not,
And if we break it up between us,
right.
They give us how much money for doing this?
No,
I'll buy
that's
hamburgers
exactly
and
what I
hot dogs
thought.
with it.
Exactly. That was my exact thought.
Right.
Pretty simple. And then desserts too.
oh, you gotta have dessert.
Right.
Even if it's cookies.
Cookies.
Wendy's gonna open up the ice cream shop
Ooh.
for everybody. No, just kidding.
Now there's a door prize, a gift certificate prize.
Okay, so I guess we have to break this down into
Mm.
okay, I will reach out to Cindy and touch base with her and see what I can do about sides for the time being.
Okay,
And then if one of you wants to, well, you could ask John about a clock for a door prize. And then, we need some more door prizes. We can talk to Robinsons, or the pub might do like a gift certificate or something.
Genevieve might do a sauna.
Yeah,
She does that often for other events.
yeah. And it, it just gives people, it would allow somebody in town to try it out without having to, so that's a start anyways. And then we can kind of touch base again at our next meeting and kind of fine tooth like.
yeah, what we need to buy, like charcoal.
Right.
Buns, hot dogs, hamburgers, numbers, and yeah.
And maybe I can sit down sometime in the near future and like come up with a list of things that we need, and then we can just put a name next to
Yeah,
what we need.
I see a spreadsheet.
I can't do spreadsheets. I love other people who can, because I can write it on a piece of paper. Jade, I love her so much, because I like draw a box and I hand it to her and I say, this is what I want, but on there, make that happen. And then I'm like, but I have to be able to edit it too. And she's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, well, I don't know. That's why I'm telling you.
I was helping my husband submit a couple of grants this week, and just the computer and just navigating, and he has all these windows open and he can't find something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, let me just do this for you.
Yep. It works like that sometimes. So yeah, I guess we'll start there, and I'll talk with Cindy first and see if the whole side option, I think that would be fine. And then just kind of get what I can get for a list together of things that we're gonna need, and then a list of what we can get for door prizes, and then I'll make a list of what people are bringing for
Okay,
sides.
I'll brainstorm on that too.
Cool.
Sounds good.
We got this.
Yes, we do.
Perfect.
All right,
We good?
Do we need
I
to make
think
a
so.
motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
sure do.
I'd make that motion to adjourn.
You'd make that motion. I'll second that motion. Oh. All in favor? Are we off Zoom too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No comment from the Zoom.
Yeah. So she was on?
I can't leave.
You can't leave.
I'm sure we ought to leave.
Just to plug it.
Oh, the participants